Hey everyone, ready for another deep dive. Today we're tackling something we all struggle with, fitness myths.
It's like they're everywhere.
Seriously, they're like those pesky weeds in your garden. You think you've pulled them all, but...
They just keep popping up.
Exactly. And they can really hold you back from, reaching your fitness goals.
So we're going to bust them wide open.
Love it. For this deep dive, we're looking at this episode of the podcast, Thoughtful Living.
With Ryan and Sophia.
Right. They go through, tons of fitness myths.
Some are pretty common.
Yeah, you have to work out every day to see results.
Or lifting weights makes you bulky.
Or how about you can target fat loss in specific areas?
We'll see about that one.
Okay, let's start with that whole working out every day thing.
Yeah.
I used to think more workouts meant better results.
Yeah, that's a classic one.
But Ryan actually made me rethink that. He talks about, the importance of rest.
Yeah, he compares muscles to superheroes.
Oh, right. They need downtime to recharge after a big battle.
Exactly. And it makes sense when you think about what's happening to your muscles when you work out.
What's actually going on?
Well, you're actually causing these tiny little tears in your muscle fibers.
Wait, seriously? Tears?
Yeah, but it's a good thing. It actually signals your body to repair and rebuild those muscles and make them even stronger.
Oh, I see.
But that rebuilding can only happen when you give your body a break.
So rest days aren't just for being lazy?
Nope. They're super important for making actual progress. Like you said, your muscles need time to recover and recharge.
All right, so we've got to give our inner superhero a break.
Absolutely.
Okay, on to another myth. This one, I think a lot of women especially struggle with the fear of getting bulky from lifting weights.
Yeah.
We pick up a dumbbell and boom, we're suddenly a bodybuilder.
I know. Sophia talks about this, and she says it's all about testosterone. Men naturally have much higher levels, so they build muscle way easier.
So us ladies don't have to worry about accidentally turning into the Hulk.
Nope. Plus, building lean muscle has a ton of benefits for everyone. It helps you burn more calories even when you're not working out. And it's great for your bones and just making everyday stuff easier.
Okay, strength training. You've officially won me over. All right, next up, cardio. Is it the only way to lose weight?
It's a common belief, right?
Right. I mean, cardio is good for your heart, but does that mean it's the only path to, shedding a few pounds?
Well, Ryan actually says no. He emphasizes that it's all about creating a calorie deficit.
Ah, the calorie deficit. That makes sense, but how does that work exactly?
Basically, you need to burn more calories than you consume. And cardio is one way to do that, sure, but it's not the only way. You can also create that deficit through diet
and strength training.
Exactly.
So it's about finding that balance. You can't outrun a bad diet no matter how many miles you log on the treadmill.
So true.
Speaking of things we can't outrun, let's talk about those miracle supplements.
Oh yeah, the ones that promise you'll get ripped in a week.
Yeah. Or lose 10 pounds of fat overnight. I'll admit, sometimes they sound pretty tempting, but Ryan really calls out this idea that you need supplements to reach your goals.
He makes a good point. The word supplement is key. They should be just that, something that adds to a healthy diet.
Not replaces it.
Right.
Sophia gives this great example about protein powder. Sure, it's convenient, but you can get all the protein you need from just eating real food, like chicken or beans or lentils.
Yeah.
All those good things.
All right, so real food over magic pills.
Yeah.
Got it.
Absolutely.
Okay, let's tackle one more myth before we wrap up this part of our deep dive. This one's a classic spot reduction.
Ah, yes. The idea that you can target fat loss in specific areas.
Yeah. Doing 1,000,000 crunches will magically melt away belly fat.
I wish it were that easy.
I know, right?
Oh, okay.
I used to spend hours doing crunches, hoping for those sculpted abs.
Sophia uses this great analogy. She compares it to trying to shrink only your left thumb. It just doesn't work that way.
You can't just shrink one body part. No. When you lose fat, you lose it from your entire body.
So where you tend to lose it first, that's mostly genetics.
Yeah, pretty much. And crunches, those are more about strengthening your core, not specifically burning belly fat.
So it's all about overall fat loss through, healthy eating, exercise.
And rest.
Right, and rest. All right, we've already busted so many myths, but there are plenty more where that came from. Stick around, and we'll be back soon with part 2 of this deep dive.
Welcome back. Ready for more myth busting?
Let's do it. Last time we debunked that myth about having to eat immediately after a workout.
Right, like you have to chug a protein shake the second you're done.
Yeah. But really, that anabolic window isn't as crucial as, some people make it seem.
Definitely not. It's more important to focus on just eating a balanced meal within a few hours of working out.
Okay, so no more sprinting to the fridge after lifting weights. I can live with that.
Good. Now let's talk protein. There's this idea out there that you need like a ton of it to build muscle.
Oh yeah, I've definitely fallen for that one. Like, I used to think if I wasn't constantly eating chicken and protein bars, my muscles would just disappear.
I know, right? But the amount you actually need might be a lot less than you think.
Really? So I don't need to carry around Tupperware containers of chicken everywhere?
Probably not. I mean, if you're an athlete or doing super intense training, maybe you need a bit more. But for most people, a moderate amount is enough.
Okay, so what's moderate? How much protein should we actually be aiming for?
A good rule of thumb is about 0.8 grams of protein per kilogram of body weight.
Kilogram. Okay, so for us Americans, that's about, what, 0.36 grams per pound?
Yeah, something like that. And remember, you can get protein from all sorts of foods, not just chicken. Beans, lentils, tofu, and those are all packed with protein too.
Variety is key. All right, switching gears a bit, let's talk about the idea that genetics determine everything when it comes to fitness. That whole, I'm just not built for this excuse.
Yeah, I've definitely used that one myself.
Me too. But, how much does genetics actually play a role? Are some people just, born to be athletes?
Well, genetics definitely influences things like your body composition and your metabolism and how you respond to exercise.
So are we saying there's no hope for the rest of us?
Not at all. Think of it this way. Genetics provide the blueprint, but you're the architect. They lay the foundation, but you have the power to build upon it.
So even if we weren't, blessed with amazing athletic genes, we can still make improvements.
Absolutely. Regular exercise, a healthy diet, and consistent effort, those can make a world of difference.
Okay, so we can officially retire that I'm just not built for this excuse.
Into the myth-busting crash it goes. Now, let's talk tech. Do you really need all the latest gadgets and gizmos to get a good workout?
It seems like it these days, right? Smartwatches, fancy treadmills, all those apps. It's like you can't even break a sweat without a screen in front of you.
I know. But you really don't need all that stuff. While it can be helpful for tracking your progress or staying motivated, it's definitely not essential.
So we can still just, put on our sneakers and go for a run. Or do some body weight exercises at home.
Exactly. Don't feel like you have to spend a ton of money on fancy equipment or memberships. The most amazing piece of equipment you have is your own body.
All right, so ditch the tech and embrace the simplicity.
Absolutely. And ditch those expectations of overnight results, too.
Oh, yeah. I used to get so caught up in wanting to see changes in the mirror right away.
That instant gratification, right?
Totally. But fitness is a marathon, not a sprint.
Exactly. It takes time, effort, and consistency. Don't compare your beginning to someone else's, highlight reel.
That's a good point. Everyone's on their own journey. Speaking of journeys, what about that fear of starting? That feeling of, I'm not fit enough to work out.
Oh, yeah. It's like saying you have to be a great swimmer before you can take swimming lessons.
Right. Everyone starts somewhere.
Exactly. And there are so many resources out there for all levels, from beginner to advanced. Just find something you enjoy and that you can stick with.
Okay, so don't let fear or self-consciousness hold you back.
Absolutely. And remember, rest is just as important as exercise. Don't feel like you have to work out every single day.
Right. We talked about that in the last part. Those rest days are key for recovery.
Exactly. Overtraining can actually backfire and make things worse.
So it's okay to take a break when you need it.
Definitely. Listen to your body. It'll let you know when it needs a rest. Now let's talk about calories. Do you think all calories are created equal?
That's a good question. A calorie is a calorie, right?
Well, calorie is a unit of energy, yes. But the source of those calories, that actually matters a lot for your overall health.
So 100 calories from a donut isn't the same as 100 calories from broccoli?
Not at all. Different foods get metabolized differently. For example, protein takes more energy to digest than carbs or fat, which means you actually burn more calories just by breaking it down.
Interesting. So it's not just about counting calories, it's about the quality of those calories too.
Exactly. Focus on those nutrient-rich whole foods. They'll not only give you the good stuff your body needs, but they can also help boost your metabolism.
Okay, so quality over quantity when it comes to calories. Now, what about those workout routines? Do you ever feel like you get stuck in a rut doing the same thing over and over again?
All the time. It's easy to get comfortable with a routine, but your body is super adaptable. If you keep doing the same workout, eventually it'll adapt and you might hit a plateau.
So we need to shake things up a bit.
Definitely. Try different exercises, change the intensity, maybe even try a whole new activity. Keep your body guessing.
I like that. Challenge accepted. Okay, what about this? Do you think everyone's fitness journey is the same?
Oh gosh, no. We're all different. Different bodies, different goals, different lives.
It's easy to compare ourselves to others, especially with social media and all those, perfect bodies we see everywhere.
I know. It can be really discouraging. But it's so important to remember that what works for one person might not work for another. Focus on your own progress, your own goals, and your own unique journey.
Love that. Celebrate those personal victories.
Exactly. Okay, one more myth before we move on. Do you think you have to be perfect in your diet and exercise to see results?
Ugh, that all or nothing mentality. I used to think that if I slipped up and had a slice of pizza or missed a workout, I might as well just give up.
But that's not how it works at all. Fitness isn't about perfection. It's about consistency. It's okay to indulge sometimes, and it's fine to have days when you don't feel like working out.
So it's all about balance.
Exactly. Find a sustainable balance that works for you. Don't punish yourself with rigid rules and restrictions.
That's a good reminder. Okay, what about this idea that you only need to focus on certain muscles to get a balanced physique?
Yeah, it's easy to get fixated on those mirror muscles, the ones we see the most, but neglecting other muscle groups can create imbalances.
And that can lead to injuries.
Exactly. So it's important to work all the major muscle groups: legs, back, chest, shoulders, arms, core, everything.
It's like building a house. You need a solid foundation.
Exactly. A balanced physique isn't just about looking good. It's about functional strength and injury prevention.
Okay, so no skipping leg day. Now, this is a big one. Is there one best workout or diet for everyone?
I wish there's a simple answer to that, but honestly, there isn't. The best workout and diet for you will depend on your individual goals, preferences, body type, and lifestyle.
So we need to experiment and find what works best for us.
Exactly. Don't be afraid to try different things, see how your body responds, and adjust your approach as needed.
Makes sense. It's all about that self-discovery, finding what feels good and what helps us reach our goals.
Exactly. Now, here's one I know a lot of women especially struggle with: the fear of lifting heavy weights. That worry that it'll make you bulky.
Oh yeah, that one's persistent. Like if we lift anything heavier than a tiny pink dumbbell, we'll turn into a bodybuilder.
I know, right? But lifting weights, even heavy weights, is not inherently dangerous.
Really? So lifting heavy won't automatically make us bulky?
Nope. As long as you're using proper form and technique, you're actually strengthening your bones, your joints, and your muscles.
So it could actually reduce the risk of injuries.
Exactly. Don't be afraid to challenge yourself. Just make sure you're using proper form, and maybe even work with a trainer if you're not sure about certain exercises.
Good advice. All right, let's talk food. What about this idea that you have to cut out entire food groups to lose weight?
Oh, the carbs are evil and fat will make you fat. Myths. Those are tough ones to shake.
I know, right? But do we really have to say goodbye to carbs forever?
Not at all. Unless you have a specific medical condition that requires it, cutting out entire food groups is usually not necessary.
So we can still enjoy carbs and fats and even the occasional treat.
Absolutely. It's all about moderation and balance. Aim for a variety of nutrient-rich foods from all the food groups.
Okay, balance is key. Now, this is a myth that I think is especially relevant these days. Does all fitness advice carry the same weight?
It's a jungle out there. Social media, self-proclaimed experts, conflicting information everywhere. It's hard to know what to believe.
So how do we sift through all that noise and find information we can trust?
Be a critical thinker. Don't just blindly follow trends. Look for evidence-based advice from reputable sources.
So do our research and don't take everything at face value.
Exactly. Speaking of things that aren't always what they seem, let's talk about quick fixes. Is there a magic pill or a secret shortcut to getting fit?
I wish. But deep down, we probably all know there isn't.
You're right. Real, lasting change takes time, effort, and consistency.
So no shortcuts. Got it. Now, what about this idea that you have to look a certain way to be considered fit?
Those unrealistic beauty standards?
Yeah, it's like you have to have a six-pack and perfectly toned everything to be considered fit.
But true fitness is about so much more than how you look. It's about how you feel, how you move, how you live your life.
So we need to ditch those societal pressures.
Absolutely. Fitness is for everyone, no matter what your body looks like.
Okay, so no more comparing ourselves to those perfect bodies on social media. What about this? Do we have to track every single calorie and macro to reach our goals?
Tracking can be helpful for some people, but it's definitely not essential for everyone.
I've definitely fallen into that calorie counting trap before.
Yeah, it can be a slippery slope. If you find it helpful and it doesn't stress you out, then go for it. But if you're obsessing over numbers and feeling guilty about every bite you take, it might be time to ditch the tracking and just focus on building a healthier relationship with food.
Good point. What about this? Are certain exercises just for men and others just for women?
Yeah, those gender stereotypes. All exercises are beneficial for both men and women. Just choose activities you enjoy and that challenge you.
So no more man's workout or woman's workout?
Nope. Fitness is about empowering yourself, not limiting yourself.
I love that. All right, let's tackle one last myth for this part. Does working out have to be, grueling and unpleasant to be effective?
Definitely not.
Yeah.
Exercise should be something you enjoy.
So it shouldn't feel like a punishment.
Exactly. Find activities that bring you joy, that make you feel good, that challenge you in a positive way. If you're dreading your workouts, you're less likely to stick with them. Make fitness fun.
That's a great reminder. We've covered a ton of ground in this part, busting even more fitness myths, but there are still a few more to tackle. Stick with us for part 3, where we'll wrap up this myth-busting extravaganza. We're back, ready to finish strong, busting even more fitness myths.
Let's do it.
Last time, we talked about finding a workout routine you enjoy and really listening to your body, especially when it comes to rest and recovery.
Right. Ditching that more is always better idea.
But there's another myth about rest I think we should talk about. The idea that active recovery is always better than, just taking a complete break.
Yeah, you have to be constantly moving, even on your rest days.
Right. I can't just relax on the couch. I have to at least go for a light jog or something.
But is that true? Is active recovery always necessary?
Sometimes I just want to chill,
I hear you. Well, both active recovery and complete rest are important. Active recovery can be good. It can help reduce muscle soreness and improve blood flow.
To light walks, stretching, maybe some gentle yoga. Those are good active recovery options.
Yeah, exactly. But complete rest is also really important. It gives your body that chance to, fully recover and rebuild those muscles.
So if I'm just exhausted, it's okay to just take a day off and do nothing?
Absolutely. Don't feel guilty about taking a complete rest day when you need it. Your body will thank you. It's all about listening to your body and doing what feels right.
Okay, good to know. What about this? That you should see results immediately.
Yes. The instant gratification trap.
It's easy to get caught up in that, especially with all the before and after photos we see everywhere.
I know, right? But remember, those transformations usually take a long time. Months, even years of hard work.
And we're only seeing a tiny snapshot of their journey.
Exactly. So be patient with yourself, celebrate your progress, and remember, any step forward is a good step.
I think it's easy to forget that real change takes time. It's a journey, not a race.
So true.
Speaking of journeys, let's talk about a myth that can cause a lot of anxiety, especially with certain exercises. That some exercises are bad for your joints.
Yeah, like running is bad for your knees, or lifting weights will ruin your shoulders.
Exactly. But is there any truth to that?
Well, exercise is actually generally good for your joints, as long as you're using proper form and, listening to your body.
So it's not the exercise itself, it's more about how we do it.
Exactly. Done correctly, exercise like running and weightlifting can actually strengthen the muscles around your joints, which can help make them more stable.
That makes sense. So if you're worried about your joints, maybe work with a trainer to make sure you have the right form.
Definitely. Or even a physical therapist if you have any concerns. Okay, let's talk about something I think a lot of people struggle with. Food guilt.
Oh yeah, the idea that there are good foods and bad foods, that we have to eat perfectly all the time.
But food shouldn't be a source of guilt. It's nourishment, and it should be enjoyable too.
Are you saying we don't need to label foods as good or bad?
Exactly. All foods can fit into a healthy diet. It's about balance.
So I can still have a slice of pizza and not feel bad about it.
Yes. Depriving yourself will only make you crave it more. Allow yourself to enjoy those treats in moderation.
I like the sound of that. What about this one? That you need a six-pack to be considered fit.
The six-pack obsession.
It's like having visible abs is the only way to prove you're fit.
But fitness is about so much more than your appearance. It's about how you feel, how strong you are, how much energy you have.
No, a six-pack doesn't automatically mean you're healthy.
Nope. And not having one doesn't mean you're not. Focus on feeling good in your own skin, six-pack or no six-pack.
Okay, I think we've busted a lot of myths today. Rest and recovery, nutrition, finding a workout you enjoy, all that good stuff.
We've talked about comparing ourselves to others and embracing our own unique fitness journeys.
And most importantly, that fitness shouldn't be about punishment. It should be about finding what works for you and celebrating what your body can do.
Absolutely.
Well, that wraps up our deep dive into fitness myths. Hope you learned something new and maybe even feel inspired to ditch those limiting beliefs and create a fitness routine you love.
Thanks for joining us.